Ted Davies, and this is Ted Davies Artistry. Good morning. Well, welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to let everybody know that I'm excited about being here. I'm looking forward to this next year, and I wanted to find out, any comments or anything that you guys are looking forward to me possibly doing as far as drawing and that goes on this channel. Leave it in the comments, and let's get to it. My name is Ted Davies. I'm an author of Retrieve, the comic book series. I'm also the author of a horror series coming out called Circa. Also a dark comedy called Grim 101, and soon Albino Zulu will be another of my creations coming out. I am pretty well known as far as in art, as far as with my Skull Cap series. I do a lot of different skulls and that type of look. I do a lot of Tiki artwork, a lot of comic book artwork. My mediums are pen and ink and watercolor is what I really specialize in, what I enjoy. With that, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I built my Instagram starting last year. Just to give you an idea, I draw traditionally still. I haven't gotten into a whole lot of digital work. It's just because of the way I like to express myself. I really like drawing with watercolor, painting with watercolor and drawing, and I think that you don't necessarily always have a computer handy, but you can always grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and that's something to where when people ask me how do you draw or how do you get inspired, this is how I do it. So starting last, I believe it was February 2019, I started my Instagram page, and I decided that I was going to post one of my caricatures or a creative work, fan art piece every day for 90 days. So what I started to do was I ended up getting just a sketch pad from Michael's, Walmart, whatever. I had one actually laying around, and I started to bring in just every morning. I didn't have any set parameters or anything. I just started sketching. And as far as the daily, was it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth, I built a portfolio on Instagram, and that was something to where I tried to build out something that people would enjoy, and I wanted to get something to where I started to get a following, obviously, but I also wanted to, like I said, have some value, bring some enjoyment to people. And the caricatures that I've done over the course of the last few years, some of them asked to use them for tattoo work and that kind of thing, which is kind of cool. Very flattering. But I wanted to show people that you can do this. You can create something and bring joy to the world, so to speak, every day by a little bit of creativity. Here's one of my Skull Cap series I did, one of the pre-sketches before I went to color. In any case, but it gives you, and of course I throw a little bit of color in there too every now and then. I don't know if you can see that, but it gives you an idea of what you can do, and you can build your Instagram page. You can build a following of people that are like-minded, just like on YouTube here. I was asked to do a YouTube page about 6 months ago, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But I really wanted to create something that I think I can bring. In any case, this is about the 90 days, 90-day run of what I did. Give you an idea there. and I built an Instagram page of well over 1,000 people in about 90 days. Not too fast, but enough. And I think that there's ways that you guys can do that too. And I'm going to show you a couple sketches that one sketch that I'm going to be doing right now. One of the things that I wanted to do as far as a comic book writer, I love comic books. I love the medium and everything. I love the way that the storytelling can work and is digestible. You can get a book in 20 minutes, and that one book, as corny as it sounds, can change your life. That whole storyline can change your life. The way that you perceive the world around you, the hope for the future, and that's one thing I really liked about comic books, and I still do. And that's one of the reasons why I did retrieve in a comic book series. So let's start on some sketching. Let's do a Tiki. I try to draw things that not necessarily are commercially acceptable. I don't mean that, but I like, it's almost a meditative thing that I do a lot of. It becomes easier and easier and easier as you do it. That's why they call it practice. But I start out usually with shapes. I don't know if you can see that or not, but just almost like an hourglass shape. And as far as the, I don't know if you can see this or not, but once I get the black lines on this, it'll help. But it gets you at least a format. You just sketch lightly, bring in some colors and if you want to. But I think that when you're dealing with Tikis are pretty easy because there's not really a set of lines that you have to have. I mean, you have to have eyes and kind of Mr. Potato Head. I usually I'll outline in a Sharpie marker. You can see how the shape, how it's working now. But the shapes that I usually use are triangles and that type. I don't usually have a method to my madness. I just draw, and that comes with a lot of years of pencil and paper. I've had a very good career in drawing, and I've been very fortunate when it comes to that. My dad was an artist, so I've always been around that kind of environment, that type of creative environment. So in that, when you're dealing with a lot of the different Tiki ideas and that kind of thing, I usually try to have a shape to it. I'll bring in some type of feel to the moment, or movement to the moment, so that it's got some type of feel to it, so it brings some interest to it. On some of my drawings, when you go on my Instagram, I do a dreadlock Tiki or a curly Tiki. I've got that on my art page for my t-shirts and that type of thing. I'll leave a link for you on that. But it's just to have fun. That's the whole idea. I fill in a lot of this, and I'll show you this in a minute. I fill in a lot of the negative space. You can see that. I'll show you the eyes here in a second. And you can have fun with it. I mean, you don't have to do a Tiki. I just chose a Tiki because I think it's an easy way to get started as far as people's artwork. And the thing about art, you don't need to be frustrated. I deal with a lot of fun art, not complex art, and that's something to where I like the viewer to look at the drawing and say, oh, cool, I like the shape of that, or I see what he did there. And that's important, because if I can inspire somebody to pick up a pencil or a pen and put down what's in their mind, I'm making the world a better place. I'm making them happier, and so that's one of the things that I hope I can do that in today's world. It's a good thing to have. I'll give you an idea here. So that one's working out. See how I brought in the negative spaces and then use the elevated marking. I'll show you how to do I do grain work to it as well, like a wood grain, so you can see how that works. But that gives you an idea how I draw my tikis. A lot of things on this too that you can do around the tikis. As far as I add color, I'll add shapes, earrings. I don't know, I think the first tiki I saw was on the Brady Bunch when they went to Hawaii, and they had that, I don't know if it was an evil talisman or what that was, but it messed up Greg pretty good. But in any case, I remember that. For some reason I remember that. Then I started getting into some rockabilly music. You can see a little bit more of the grain work that I do and how that goes, but gives you an idea. But hopefully that I get you started on some of the tiki art that I do. I usually always sign my work after I'm done with it. And I can say that it's on 2020 now instead of 2019. And then I'll clean it up. I'll erase a few things, take the pencil marks off. But that's pretty much my process. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe and share the channel if you'd like to. Much success in 2020 to everybody listening, and no envy, no fear. Have a great day. I'm Ted Davies, and this is Ted Davies Artistry.